Notice is hereby given of a regular meeting of the City of San Angelo Development Corporation to be held on October 25th, 2023 at 8:30 a.m. at the East Mezzanine of City Hall, 72 West College Avenue, San Angelo, Texas, for the purpose of considering the following agenda items. Number one, we'll call the meeting to order. It is 8:35. And Director Jones, will you please lead us in prayer?
Heavenly Father, we thank you for today. We know that you do answer prayers, and we thank you for the rain that we hear outside the building today. Thank you for all the many other ways you bless us in this community every day. May your will be done in our proceedings here this morning. Guide and direct us according to your path. We ask these things in the name of your Son. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. 3, public comment. Issues or items that are not on the agenda may be raised by the public at this time. Citizens should speak from the podium, begin by stating their name, and limit remarks to less than 3 minutes. Board members may request that a discussed item be placed on a future agenda. The board takes public comment on all regular agenda items during the discussion of those items. Do we have any public comment? No. Okay. We'll move on to number 4, the consent agenda. A, consider approving the necessary corporation disbursement. B, consider approving the regular meeting minutes of September 27, 2023. C, consider approving a lease agreement by and between the City of San Angelo Development Corporation and Reef Builders International Corporation, and authorizing the board president or the designee to execute all necessary documents. Do we have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Okay, we have a first, Director Spano, second, Director Mantuf. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Number 5, regular agenda A, consider approving the September 2023 financials. Presentation by Tina Diersky.
Good morning, Board. Tina Diersky, Director of Finance. I'm going to go over your year-end unaudited financial statements. We ended the year over our final budget for sales tax revenue by almost $1.6 million overall. And we did end the year on a positive note in September, with sales tax being up 4.5% over the previous, the same month in the previous year. Overall for the year, we ended up about 9% up from last year. And in October, we saw an increase of 8%. We continue to monitor cash flows on your balance sheet in an effort to maximize our yield. I also want to point out that unassigned fund balance right now for the economic development side is at $4.2 million, and there's about $7 million currently set aside for projects.
Tina, could I ask a question?
Sure, go ahead.
You said
as long as it's an easy one.
Well, it's probably easy for you to answer. Does that include the $2 million set aside? We've already set the money aside for that $2 million.
I don't think we've, Jonathan, have we set that aside yet? You did? That is in the $7 million? Yes, that does include it.
So we don't have to take the $2 million out of that 4.2. It's already reduced.
That's correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome. On the income statement, you'll see where revenue was 16% over budget. That's largely due to our conservative budgeting practices, where we usually budget about 5% less than what we receive in the preceding year. We had some payments go out for Costa DC staff and then city services, as well as a $133,000 payment for the Ethicon project. The only other thing I wanted to point out on this is that you'll see in the Costa DC staff line, of course, that was under budget by $240,000 due to those 2 positions that have been open for most of the year. And on the balance sheet for the ballot side, the cash and investments is at about $9.5 million, and of course you have an unassigned fund balance there of $8.9 million. And on the income side, for the ballot side, again, 16% over budget. Your interest investments over budget by $255,000. Excuse me, and we did make that payment for the Port Stockton water rights of almost $500,000. So that's all I have for presentation. Do y'all have any other questions related to the financials? Okay. Max is studying.
Yeah. No, I was just kind of thinking, you see the wheels turning in my head. But for the unassigned fund balance, the $8.9 million on the ballot side, most of that is going to be for debt service, isn't it? A big chunk of that?
We'll begin to accrue that right now in October, just start making ready to make those payments in February and August of next year for debt service. That payment, I think, is going to be about $5.5 million, a little
Yeah.
less than that
Right, so then that balance will
in
go
the
down to
current
about
fiscal year.
3 or something.
And it'll eat up some of
Right.
that, yeah.
Okay. Cool, that's what I was thinking, thank you.
Yep.
Cool. Any questions for Tina? No?
Oh, I had slides.
All right, so then we'll entertain a motion.
Move approval of the financial.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Who's that? Carlos?
Carlos.
All right. So we have first, Director Jones, second, Director Rodriguez. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you,
Thank
Tina.
you.
Okay. All right, B, presentation of Altex Irrigation and Supply LLC, update on efforts to raise money for a splash pad for the community. Presentation by Michael Dane.
Good morning, Michael Dane, Interim Economic Development Director. I don't have a presentation on this. Board Member Spano asked for this to be added so that he could have folks here to discuss kind of where they were at and what they were up to. And so my role is just to introduce the item to you.
Okay.
Joe, do you have?
I'm sorry, Mike. I was
This-
reading what I was reading.
This is the item that you requested, an update from the group that's working on the splash pads?
Right. So, yeah, I asked for this agenda item. I asked them, I have met with them about this splash pad project that they're doing, and I was really impressed by the work that is being done to find funding for these 2 pads. I had seen these actually after I met with Jeff and Alicia. I was in a couple of different cities that have these, and very similar to what they were trying to do. And I was just really impressed by it, by what these pads look like. I was impressed by some of the photos that I have seen of kiddos and some adults utilizing these pads. And the other thing that impressed me was how quickly they were able to start raising funds to, I won't steal their thunder, but they've raised funds very quickly on one of these pads, and I think that shows that this is something that our community is interested in. So I thought it would be beneficial for them to come here and present to us, and I think, in my opinion, it's a great idea for us to get behind this. So I'd love for them to come up and talk about it.
Good morning, how are y'all?
Morning.
I'm Jeff Perrine, this is Alicia Oshansky. I'm the owner of Altex Irrigation. Recently, within the last year and a half or so, Alicia and I have taken on the challenge and the thoughts and ideas of producing a splash pad here in San Angelo. We've kind of gone through some bumps in the roads and kind of got some stuff up and running, talked to, city council, they've gotten behind us. Alicia has produced a presentation here that she would like to present to y'all. Hopefully y'all can get behind it as well. And she'll have a lot better details, but just want to introduce myself. Like I said, Jeff Altex and Alicia Oshansky.
I provided my PowerPoint and, oh, wonderful, there we go. Once again, my name is Alicia Olshansky. I'm a board member for the Altex Splash Pad Fund and currently am employed at Altex Irrigation, the company that has brought this project to San Angelo. Nestled within community neighborhoods, splash pads offer inclusive access to activities for both local residents and visitors alike. The splash pad technology features ground nozzles that spray water upward, creating a safe and shallow play area. Each pad is thoughtfully designed with unique features to ensure an enjoyable experience for children and family of all ages. The introduction of these splash pads represents an exciting new journey that will enhance the experience of 2 of San Angelo parks. By providing a safe and enjoyable outdoor space for all, we strive to bring individuals and families together while promoting the value of community involvement. Our vision for this project is to create an inclusive, accessible, and sustainable amenity that enhances the quality of life for our community. We envision a space that encourages active play, fosters social interaction, and provides relief during the hot West Texas summers. We aspire to empower our community with a safe, fun, and free recreational option that is accessible for people of all ages and abilities. We are committed to implementing sustainable practices in the construction and operation of the splash pad to ensure that our project is environmentally responsible. Our mission for this project is to create a safe, inclusive, and interactive water play area that will serve as a hub for community engagement and foster social development. We are dedicated to delivering a state-of-the-art facility that not only adheres to all safety standards, but also ensures a fun and enriching experience for children of all abilities and backgrounds. Through this initiative, we aim to contribute to the overall well-being of our community, promoting outdoor activity and facilitating the creation of shared memories amongst family and friends. In June 2022, All Techs embarked on a mission to contribute something valuable to the San Angelo community, benefiting all of its residents. As passionate advocates of Texas water, we sought to incorporate an element that resonates with our daily work, hence splash pads. With the formation of a dedicated committee, we presented our vision to City Council in January of this year. Fortunately, they embraced our proposal, granting us permission to secure funding, construct the pads, and give back to the city. Grateful to the Area Foundation, we also had the privilege of operating under their nonprofit status, ensuring the safekeeping of our donated funds while pursuing our charitable cause. The purpose of this project is to create a safe, fun, and accessible aquatic environment in our community, to provide the children a place to cool down during the hot summer months, encourage outdoor play and physical activity, and foster positive community engagement. To construct a water play area that is compliant with ADA standards, ensuring inclusivity for all children, including those with mobility challenges. Our project plan has been broken out into 4 phases. The first phase, there was meticulous design and budgeting where we tailored the splash pad to best suit the needs of our community while adhering to a reasonable and sustainable financial plan. Currently, in phase 2, we are focusing on fundraising, leveraging various avenues to gather the necessary resources. Once funds are secured, we'll enter into phase 3, which we will then build the Unidad Park splash pad. And then lastly, once the remaining funds are secured, we will complete the splash pad at Kirby Park. The budgeting for this project is broken down into 3 areas. Unidad Park, set to span approximately 2,500 square feet, has been quoted a total cost of $387,500. This figure includes the cost of equipment, install, design, and permit fees. For Kirby Park, which is slightly larger at 2,900 square feet, carries a total quoted price of $389,500. Like Unidad, this encompasses the cost of equipment, install, design consultation, and permit fees. The third part of the budget includes additional cost set at $123,000. This includes application fees for the Downtown Historic Review Committee and Texas Department of Licensing and Registration, utility runs for electrical and water, construction and install of shade structures, and materials and labor for connecting walkways. Also incorporated are the costs for signage to display the rules and regulations of each splash pad, as well as adjustments to irrigation and resodding at each park post-construction. A contingency fund is also accounted for to address unforeseen expenses or cost overruns, ensuring that we have a smooth execution of this project. Overall, we have a total budget of $900,000. To provide some more in-depth breakdown of the budget, we have included a comprehensive list of what is included in each park, as well as the third part, the additional costs for both sites. I won't bore you with each line item, but it provides an overview as to what is included for each park's budget more in depth. As a quick overview, this does include all the equipment, a UV infiltration system for the water that will be held in a 3,500-gallon holding tank. These splash pads will be recirculating the water used. So once that tank is filled, there will be minimal water refill usage required from the city. Also included is a pavilion enclosure for the UV infiltration systems, the concrete pads, all the renderings, and any fees associated with that specific park. As it currently stands, our fund has raised over $345,000. This includes the initial contribution of $100,000 from Altex Irrigation. We participated in our first St. Angelo Gives this year. During that event, we raised over $26,000, which came from 78 different donations. Most recently, the Splash Pad Fund was appointed to be the beneficiary for ASCO Equipment's yearly event, where they match up to $100,000 fund raised. We are very happy to say that we actually exceeded that $100,000 that will go towards, which is included in our budget. Where we currently stand, minus some expenses that have come out, we are at a little over $330,000. To provide some insight into community members who have helped get behind this project, we wanted to provide an overview of current sponsors that have donated to this fund to get us to where we are currently at. At our entry-level sponsorship, the Water Drop, we have 33 different sponsors, which includes different families, individuals, and businesses. These are donations that range from $1,000 to just below $5,000. Under the mist level, we have 8 different sponsors. Higher up in the spray level, we have 6, and then the top tier level is currently Altex and ASCO Equipment. To help provide some insight, WaterPlay, who is the product vendor for these splash pads, has provided us some renderings for what each park would look like. Kirby's, which is located right off of their basketball pavilion, will be shaped around the light pole that is out there and includes various water spray features, including ground sprays and taller interactive features. Currently, Unidad is set to also have various spray features as well. What helped us draw us to this project was actually a trip that I did take to Abilene with my 2 young children, with the specific purpose to go to a splash pad. We actually went to the Redbud splash pad, and my children had a blast. They were 1 and 4 at the time, and both of them were able to participate in everything that they had there. And it just really warmed my heart to see all the different families there being able to partake in such a fun activity that catered to really anybody that was there. Currently, Abilene has 5 different public splash pads throughout their city, which was through taxpayer initiatives and donor contributions. Other projects in surrounding West Texas communities that kind of helped us push us for this project. Sweetwater recently completed theirs, known as Mustang Harbor. Like a couple of Abilene's, they have a larger play structure incorporated into theirs. Brownwood currently has 3 throughout their city, all designed in different fashions. And Midland, in addition to their various water parks that they do have a large splash pad in the center of their downtown located at Centennial Park. And we would like to open it now for questions as it relates to the project.
Thank you for that presentation. Do we have any comments from the board?
So you're seeking to raise the funds to get these built and, I guess, turned over. They're built on city property, so they'll be city
Correct.
assets.
Yes.
What are the expectations in terms of the operating expenses associated with these or repair? The city council has agreed to cover those?
Yes. So in part of the agreement of the city council allowing us to pursue this project, Parks and Recs Board had to present that it was also financially feasible for their department to maintain these pads. They presented their numbers to the city council, which they agreed to. Fortunately, these splash pads, albeit any sort of unforeseen storm or tornado or whatnot, the longevity of these are well beyond our lifetime if they were adequately maintained, and that just goes through clearing any debris from the pads, making sure that the nozzles are all free of calcium buildup, and checking the equipment as they mainly do with the pool. The city's plan is to use the person who maintains the pool to also maintain these splash pads.
Is there hours of operation while these features are being utilized?
So that will ultimately be determined by the city of San Angelo. With the splash pads, they do have to be checked every 4 hours to ensure the system is maintaining correctly. So really, if it's checked at 5, it could be permanently shut off at 9. But once again, that will be determined by the city of San Angelo as to the hours of operation and the months in which it can operate.
Also, they don't run continuously. So when you ask about the hours of operation, the pumps are off unless an individual comes and turns them on, and they run for so many minutes, and then they'll shut back down. So we're not consuming energy that's needed.
So the users initiate?
Yes,
Turning
there's
them
an
on.
activator
Okay,
switch,
cool.
usually in some sort of play feature that the kids find very amusing.
Okay. And since you mentioned the pool kind of, and the water being recycled, I guess whoever maintains it, are they checking like pH levels in the water and that sort of thing like they do in the pool? Or?
Yes.
Okay. How often would they be required to do that?
It's
Is that
every 4 hours,
Okay.
yes.
This is a great project. I'm gonna go out and say, I lived in Austin and they put one in there, and then before I wised up, moved back to San Angelo. But all the demographics that are there, you know, utilizing this, not everyone can afford a pool pass or a country club, you know, membership. So this is fantastic. This is great. So it's great to see you guys putting this together.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great point. So, it's, people aren't going to believe this, that you and I didn't speak about this last night, but coincidentally, I was with a city manager last night that has a few of these, and that is exactly, he brought up 2 points that I really liked, and you actually brought up both of them. And these splash pads do not discriminate, right? This is something that anyone is able to do, and like you said, not everyone can go to a pool or a club or things of that nature. And I won't be redundant, but just know that I've talked to 3 city managers, 2 of which are on that list, that have these splash pads, and these are the things that they absolutely say, and the communities are loving these. And there's another city very close to us that's going to have a couple of these coming on board in the next 18 months. So these are gaining in popularity for a reason. And I will tell you this, the EDCs love them. These are absolute tools for them to use to, when they talk about what our communities have to offer, these are some of the things that come up all the time, right? So, and because of that reason, they cater to everybody, regardless of what parents make. And believe it or not, some of these cities have colleges in them, and college kids are having fun at these things too. So, it's my 2 cents.
Do you plan to stop at 2?
Yeah, keep moving.
I mean, our plan right now is 2.
So in these surrounding communities that have these, are they also built by private donors, or are they typically funded by the municipality?
Typically funded from taxpayer money. And unfortunately, that is not an option that we have in San Angelo.
Okay. Well, appreciate the information, Alicia
You're
and
very
Jeff.
welcome. Thank
Do
you
we-
for giving us the opportunity.
Cool, thank you.
At this time, is there anything, do we want to entertain any kind of motion, or?
Well,
just
I don't think
wanna-
it's
or this is
actionable.
just- Okay.
Michael,
Okay.
do you know something different than I do? I don't think it's actionable today, right?
Well, if the board desires some sort of action, what we would do is take it back and run it through the Brandon filter and make sure that what you had in mind is legal, and we would bring you back an action item at the next meeting.
Yes, sorry.
So in the act, there is a provision that's an authorized project for recreational or community facilities, and I don't think it's one that requires like creation of jobs or anything like that. So we probably need to, maybe us, sit down with them and get some more details and do a little research on my part, and maybe it's something we could bring back as a authorized project.
Do you need a motion from us to get that
No,
started?
you can't today, no, we'd have to bring it back.
Yeah, there's no action today, but I think it would be beneficial if we could, at the next meeting, to maybe talk about this in executive session. Would that be okay? And then maybe take some action after executive, so we,
If there was like a legal question where it was consultation with attorney, maybe, and that may come up when we're researching it, but probably not. But we can get back with you and see.
So for clarity, it wouldn't necessarily qualify for executive session, is that what you're saying? But we could.
I don't think so.
But we could discuss it in open session
Yeah.
and the board can deliberate on it and come up with a motion.
right. So at the end of this meeting today, when the president asks if there's anything we would like on the next agenda, we would like this one to be placed on it with action.
Yeah.
Well, you could do that right now. I mean, put it on.
Well,
the
I
next one. Yeah, for the next meeting. Any
Yeah.
board member at any time could bring
Oh,
it up.
at any time.
At any time. We do it at the end in case nothing, has come up, but, yeah, we
So
could.
then let's plan on putting this with possible action on the November, Development Corporation meeting.
Yeah. Which is, we'll talk about it later, but it is being moved up a week because of Thanksgiving as well, so just to make sure everyone has that on the calendar.
And then I'll tell you this before we close. The presentation was great, but I've seen, well, all of the ones that were in the presentation I've seen, but if you haven't done, I would ask that you do some research on your own time, as to how these things operate, and because I did ask the question to a couple of city managers, what does this maintenance look like? And it's exactly what Alicia said. These things are, barring any, accident, right? Obviously, somebody could do something that they shouldn't be doing at any, just like a golf course is subject to anybody doing any types of damage, but day-to-day normal operations in a perfect world, these things really kind of run themselves with minimal maintenance, so. Anyway, I just think if you guys don't know much about them, I've been researching them since I spoke to them for a couple of weeks, and I was really impressed by how these things operate and how they're built, but.
Well, from what I understand, these are also completely handicap accessible. I mean, there is absolutely no barrier to anybody being able to access them.
100%, and that's the beautiful thing about these things.
Okay, all right, well, thank you. Thanks for bringing that to the board, Joe. All right, we'll move on to C, public hearing regarding a project under chapters 501 and 505 of the Texas Local Government Code to utilize sales and use tax funds in an amount not to exceed $29,700 as an economic development initiative to Lip Chip LLC. Presentation by Bob Schneeman.
Good morning, Bob Schneeman, Economic Development Project Manager. This is a public hearing for Lip Chip LLC for an economic development agreement. Board may recall at our last meeting, y'all approved a economic development incentive for this company. We're required by section 505.159 of the Economic Development Act to hold a public hearing. And we have to hold at least one public hearing before we spend any money to undertake the project. Lip Chip is looking at a capital investment of about $20 million for their facility, $8,600,000 for equipment. They currently employ 7 persons, and they anticipate creating an additional 18 jobs. The average salary would be about $37,000 a year, so they have a total anticipated payroll of about $1.25 million per year. The company's located going to be located in the ETJ, so we're rather limited on what we can do for incentives. This is a company that produces a microchip that is inserted in horses' lips for racehorses. They're soon going to be big with the American Quarter Horse Association and other equestrian events. Basically, the chip monitors some of the health functions of a horse, and can be monitored remotely as they're going through different activities. So we have proposed an incentive of $1,650 per full-time equivalent for up to 18 employees. The total incentive then would be $29,700, has a return on investment of about 7.6 years, and the agreement was, or the project was ratified by council at the October 17th meeting. I'll answer any questions, or we can open it up for public comment.
Okay, thanks, Bob. Any questions from the board? Okay, now we'll open it up, public comment. It is 9:09. Do you have any public comment?
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Bob. Seeing none, we will close it for public comment. It is 9:09, and I guess that's all we have to do right now, right? So Okay, thank you. We'll move on to item D, presentation of the Downtown San Angelo, Inc. Biannual Report, presentation by Monica Ramos.
All right, hello, good morning. Monica Ramos, Assistant Director of Downtown San Angelo. Thank you for inviting me to be here today to speak about downtown and as well as our organization. Downtown is one of 90 cities who participate in the Main Street program. We've received 15 years of accreditation from this program. We submit quarterly reports, and this is how we are awarded the accreditation. And those reports help us understand the needs of our community, improve our programming, and track and record any changes. A good example of those reports is our reinvestment report, which is dollars of projects from public and private improvements, any rehabs, new constructions. This includes property sales as well. And so as what you can see here is we have $212,141. Currently, as of June of 2023, our overall total is $284 million. One notable project of the reinvestment, which is a major project, is the Streetscape project that is included in the reinvestment numbers. This has really made a big impact on our downtown. We've seen 46 new businesses arise since the Streetscape. We've also seen sales tax increase in the Central Business District by 6%. So it has really made a big change and improvement. And so to see this continue past Beauregard, down Chadbourne Street would really, really make a huge difference. And of course, maybe one day if it could even make it further north down Chadbourne, imagine what that could do to the businesses in that area and help enhance the neighborhood. Our mixed beverage sales report is a combination of mixed beverage and sales tax. Anyone who serves mixed beverages has this tax included. And what we can see on this trend is that we see an increase from Q1 from the prior year. And although there's a decrease in the Central Business District and Main Street in Q2, overall San Angelo has seen an increase there. We currently receive applications for the TIERS program, which is the Tax Increment Reinvestment Zone. This is a grant incentive program available to property owners within the TIERS boundaries. This TIERS grant incentive is really great to help with projects for property owners because they can enhance their facades. It helps with landscaping. Other improvements could be secondary egress, asbestos, fire and sprinkler alarm. So these two projects that you see here, 213 North Chadbourne and 1-5 West Concho, are two properties within our southern TIERS zone. And so I'm reporting on our downtown. There's other properties that were approved for TIERS projects this year, but these two are within our southern zone. And the amount accumulated for funding that was awarded, not accumulated, amount that was awarded for funding was $335,963. Valley Vending is a business that sells and repairs pool tables, vending machines. They have facade improvement, as you can see from the photo there. We really hope to see a big turnaround because they're in need. They had a car crash into their building and it left the property in despair, and so we're really looking forward to the end result. Angry Cactus, their award was for facade improvements as well, for new windows, sprinkler, smoke alarm. And their overall plan, aside from the TIERS funding, is to be able to improve the kitchen and expand the dining space and be able to help support a culinary program that they're bringing forth. This project here received TIERS funding. This is the Angoria Hotel. It's on the corner of a very busy thoroughfare, and so having this hotel be able to turn into a boutique hotel with 40 spaces for hotel occupancy is going to really, really help this part of our central business district. As you see here, they have a pool, they'll have a gym, they have 2 suites as well as handicap rooms as well. And so this project is currently in progress, and hopefully we can see completion by the end of the year on this project. I mentioned new businesses as far as the streetscape being able to support new businesses sprouting. This year we've seen 6 new businesses. That looks wrong. Well, 6 for this quarter, 15 total. I got a little confused there. 6 for this quarter and 15 total. So we see where, well, it's a boutique and screen printing, Texas Filament Supply with 3D printing supplies, Jacob Martin Firm, engineering and architecture offices, the Golden Hour, which is a salon and a boutique, Lux 76, a boutique, and Good Movement Gravity Pilates, which is a Pilates studio and gym. As far as downtown San Angelo, our organization, we have marketing and promotions, which this is one of, I mentioned the Main Street program. We follow the 4-point approach, which is design, organization, promotions, and economic development. And so marketing here, we are able to continue on with the Sheep Spectacular project. I just attended a sheep unveiling yesterday for Central Texas Farm Credit. I really love the design of the Central Texas Farm Credit sheep because on one side they had tractors, on the other side they had a ranch scene. So the artists and the sponsors are getting together and being very creative with really representing San Angelo as a whole. So it's a great marketing tool for tourism. We have visitors that stop by our office from Goodfellow, ASU, and they always come in and say, we want to find all the sheep. Where is a map of all the sheep? And we do have a map on our website, downtownsanangelo.com, where you can view every location of the sheep, and they are spread out all across San Angelo. Our downtown stroll is a platform that we use for our businesses to get together and open their doors past 5 p.m. for customers to come out and view their products and also partake in refreshments or activities. And this week we do have our biggest downtown stroll this Thursday on the 26th. It's our Halloween celebration, so it's a mix of trick-or-treating, Halloween games, Halloween carnival-style games, and the October stroll really brings in people to downtown that may not normally come to downtown, so it's really great for these businesses to be able to showcase their business and their products on this evening. We held a Mother's Day Mosey back in May. We partnered with Old Central Firehouse on this event, and we included a fun game with a bingo card, and I would say that all of the mothers that came out and attended this event were very appreciative. The photos show the impact of how it really brought people into these businesses. They were shopping, having a good time, and enjoying the entertainment scene of downtown. Our Star Spangled Banner concert and fireworks was a success. We had one of the largest fireworks shows that we've had ever, and it brought in over 10,000 people. I mean, even within the river stage, outside of the river stage, everyone was watching. This also allowed businesses around downtown to host their own events in conjunction with this event. So we're really happy to be able to assist there. More marketing and promotions. We work with ASU. We have interns that come and help us in our office from the art school with graphic design, as well as the School of Business for marketing students to come in and learn from us. And this photo here shows the ASU Rambunctious Week. Students came out to tour downtown. They toured shopping, entertainment, and the historic aspects of downtown. We had our Leadership San Angelo tour as well that we participate in each year with the Chamber of Commerce. And Dell and I hosted the State Board of Review with a historic tour of historic properties. And we also we're going to be a part of the En Plein Air Visual Arts Tour. And so that concludes my presentation with a few updates about downtown and Downtown San Angelo, Inc. Do y'all have any questions?
Your Thursday night stroll, as opposed to a pub crawl, is family-friendly for
Oh, yes.
kids of all ages?
Most definitely, yes. It is family-friendly. And really, all of our strolls are family-friendly, and it's for any and all ages. We have the trolley available. It's a free service for stroll guests that starts at 5 p.m. and ends at 7 p.m. So you can hop on the trolley and get a ride to each location. I'm glad you asked that, because there's always the question of what is there to do for kids and families in San Angelo, and that's one of them, is the stroll.
Cool. All right. Thank you, Monica. Do you have any comments or questions from the board?
All right. Thank you.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you very much. All right, we will move on to item E, consideration and possible action regarding the marketing and recruitment plan for 2024 by the San Angelo Chamber of Commerce Marketing and Recruitment Team. Presentation by Chamber of Commerce.
Good morning, Costa DC Board, Costa DC Director. Good to be here. Michael Looney, I'm the Vice President of Economic Development at the San Angelo Chamber of Commerce, where we act as a partner with Costa DC, the Costa DC staff and leadership, and of course with all of you on advancing our economy. That basically means we're in the business of recruiting new industry to San Angelo and supporting existing industry, incumbent industry that's already here. Our presentation contains one slide, and this slide is a follow-on to the plan of action that we presented last year. So what we're doing is we're continuing to use the same basic layout, same format, so that we have continuity. We can understand those different projects and different areas of focus as they evolve, which they do, based on market and based on employment, based on different objectives that are determined by the Costa DC Board and the Chamber Board and our Economic Development Council at the Chamber of Commerce. Basically, just as an overview for those who are perhaps watching this and aren't familiar with the Economic Development Department of the Chamber's mission, it's to be the voice of manufacturing, fabrication, energy services, technology sector, and the agricultural sector throughout the Concho Valley, with obviously a focus on San Angelo. It's to strengthen entrepreneurial liberty, wealth-building opportunities for the Concho Valley region through incumbent business support, those are existing businesses that are already here, new company recruitment, and building and securing a skilled workforce so that those companies that are here and those that are looking at San Angelo know that we have the workforce, the skilled workforce, available to them. And we curate that workforce by a series of programs that we do, mainly with SAISD, Howard College, and Angelo State University. And then the vision is to make the Concho Valley a regional model for what's known as producing in the market, to build long-term sustainable funding source for economic development. That's another one of our objectives. Develop the talent pipeline, which we just said, and to meet the skills demands of businesses and create a workforce here in San Angelo that companies that are here and companies that are looking at moving to San Angelo can count on. And that's a very important point. So we have 4 swim lanes. Legislative policy is one objective, economic reinforcement, talent development, cooperation and innovation. So when you look at this, you'll probably recognize this same exact slide from last year. But what I wanted to do is point out some areas where we pivoted, and after consulting with and meeting with our Costa DC staff partners and with our board of directors, we came up with some new objectives, new directions. So if we look at economic reinforcement, the lighter shade of blue are the new objectives for 2024. So that's to expand and exploit our online presence in marketing in conjunction with our destination marketing organization. One of the tools that Costa DC has, and maybe doesn't really recognize that often, is our destination and marketing organization at the Chamber of Commerce. That is an economic development engine in and of itself that works very collaboratively with the Economic Development Department. So you can look at it where destination marketing is more tourism, lifestyle quality promotion to the world, corporate travel, so intercepting companies and travelers from those are the 5 days a week, the work days, where our numbers go a little bit lower than on the weekends for room stays, and corporate conferences. So you have the destination marketing organization working collaboratively with the EDD, which is designed to attract, curate, and support industry. Those are your primary job creators within the region. Directly facilitate fiber infrastructure. This is something that we are putting our weight behind. Bob has been copying us on a lot of traffic between several fiber providers, that's heavy infrastructure providers, and last mile providers on getting increased telecommunications capabilities within first the business park, that's the San Angelo Business and Industrial Park, and then also that spreads into other areas. So we're very focused on that, and we'll continue to do so into 2024. And then to secure private investment to drive up product development. If we go to the third swim lane, talent development, you'll see that most of those stayed the same except one, and that is to achieve economic gardening certification. This is a certification that Mike and I are going to get in 2024. Economic gardening is a trademarked method of economic development that really focuses on what we know within this body as BRE, business retention and expansion. And it expands on that and amplifies that. And that is a certification that would be had through and received through the National Center for Economic Gardening in Colorado. Economic gardening is an economic development practice that is not widely known within the traditional industrial and economic development sphere throughout the world. But it's something that Mike and I have been following as we've been developing and implementing our business retention and expansion program in conjunction with Bob and Nora and Mike Dane. And so what we're going to do is we're going to get that certification. Targeted milestones, that just gives an update to this body on the milestones that have been achieved. And those are our goals. Those are our goals that we determined we will accomplish. And we feel pretty confident that that's a very reasonable basket of different projects and goals that we can achieve. We're ambitious, but we also try to be very realistic. We understand that COCDC has a very creative use of its funding. It has a lot of different straws in the pool, if you will. And so we focus, like I would say, good asset managers for COCDC, that when we need incentives dollars, assistance dollars for different industrial operations, whether it's an expansion of an incumbent company or a recruitment of a new, we're very judicious with that. We're very careful with that. And that philosophy and practice has really served us well. Cooperation and innovation. The only update to that lane is enhanced communications and visibility of local labor shed to ensure that San Angelo continues to be a national outperformer. That's a good summary of our 24 goals. If you have any questions, we're happy to talk about it. And if not, I'll yield back the balance of my time. I think I have 18 minutes left, Nora, don't I? Well, I'm not going to take all those, so if you have any questions, please feel free.
Okay. Expand a little bit on the gardening certification. Like, what does that entail, like, to achieve that?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. That's something that's very dear to me, and since Mike Berry has been with me for 2 years at the Chamber, it's become dear to him too. Economic gardening is a program, and it's really also a philosophy of creative, sustainable, meaningful economic development for a community. It was started by accident. In 1990, a young economic developer named Chris Gibbons was the newly minted economic developer for Littleton, Colorado. And within 8 months of his career, his largest employer, a company called Lockheed Martin, I think at the time it was called Martin Marietta, 8,500 jobs. They made intercontinental ballistic missile engine systems and targeting systems and optics, closed. His city council called an emergency meeting in a panic and said, how much money do we have in our account? We need to start immediately finding a replacement tenant for that massive custom-built building that was started in the 1960s to build ICBMs. Chris thought about it and decided that he was not going to go on a mad rush to try to recruit a user for that building because he believed that despite his best efforts, it would prove fruitless. It would not deliver the results that Littleton needed. So what he did was he consulted with the city council and took the treasure that they had remaining of their economic development fund and decided that what they would do is build a database of their employees, their employers in Littleton. And they looked at Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. Tier 1 companies is like Lockheed or British Petroleum, large company. They understand their marketing better than anybody could. They have all the resources that they need. They've already captured pretty much all the market that they can absorb in the global and national marketplace. So that's a Tier 1 company. A Tier 3 company is a little startup, what we generally call mom and pop. It's maybe a little manufacturer of specialty components that has 5 people, and they fulfill their customers' needs, making, say, plumbing components or electrical components, and no real big desire to grow. They're confident that their contracts keep the lights on and everybody paid and earning a living, and no real ambition. Tier 2 companies, that's where he targeted. He targeted on Tier 2 companies, and he came up with 40 companies in Littleton that had good marketplaces. These were primary job creators, so these were manufacturers. And they took the money that they had at Littleton's Economic Development Fund and pushed that on all 40 companies, whether they needed consultants, whether they needed a $5,000 or $10,000 software upgrade, whether they needed some robotics, trainers, and they basically acted as partners to the 40 Tier 2 companies in Littleton, Colorado. To this day, if you were to take courses at the University of Oklahoma, which actually is the only university in the country that offers an economic development degree, one of the courses you will take is called the Littleton Economic Development Miracle, because it worked. It worked very well. They stabilized their economy within 2 years. The job losses that were realized, 8,500 people out of a 40,000 person city. You talk 40,000 people, 8,500 were on the street within a 12-month period. They did a 12-month layoff. That was from Lockheed Martin. They reabsorbed that 8,500 within 2 years. And so what they did in later years, they took this story to other smaller and mid-sized economic development organizations to invite them to understand how the economic gardening program works. Mike and I actually had a conference call, it lasted an hour, about 1.5 years ago with Chris. I don't tend to get starstruck by anybody, but boy, I was sure impressed with Mr. Chris Gibbons. We spent an hour on the phone and had a delightful conversation. We understood he was a busy man and is always pressed for time, and we kept continuing to try to demur and step off the call and let him get back to his day. But he continued because he was getting excited hearing what we were doing in San Angelo, Texas. And anecdotally, he said, basically, you guys are already doing it. How are you doing it? And I said, well, I've been studying your method for 5 years. He said, well, keep doing it. Get your certification, though. Use the trademark. Learn what you can along the way. Come to our they have very small conferences, different cities throughout the United States, and become a part of it officially and tell your story to other communities and to the National Center for Economic Gardening. So that's a little bit of background on what economic gardening is and the nexus of it, the genesis of it, and how it came about.
All right. Does anybody else have any comments or questions? Mike?
If I could add real quick, I know this is slightly off topic, but this body had lost a executive and another support member, which I know has been a challenge in some ways. But I can tell you that what I want to say is Mike and Bob, Nora, and Michael Dane. We've nicknamed him Mike just in case, because now the three Mikes. So we work very, very well together. We work very efficiently together. We've got it dialed in. We act as a single, cohesive unit. They know all of our projects. We know all of their projects. We have what we call the red line, the red phone. We're on that thing every day with these guys, with all of them. We get deep dive into a lot of projects. They're extremely informed. We're informed on what they're doing. There are no surprises. We keep it that way. And I just wanted to say that even though on paper we're down 2 people at COSA-DC, it is functioning extremely well. It's functioning very efficiently. And so that's something that I just wanted to say we're very confident in. And I think as a contractor to this organization and as a partner, you should hear that from me. And you should know. I don't feel like there's any deficit or that projects aren't being attacked and focused on with immediacy because on paper we're down 2 people. This group's all stepped up, all of us. We share the weight. There are projects where I may have something where my tanks are full for the next week. We'll push it on to Bob. Bob will pick up the football and run with it. He'll lateral it back to us when he gets on a project and he needs us to take it, advance the ball, advance the projects. And so that's something that I think is important for you all to know. It's a good environment. It feels good. And if there are any pivots or adjustments or modulation, we do it on the fly, right there. No debate, no discussion. And so that's something that's important for this body to know. You've got a very efficient team that works very well together.
Mike, I want to say real quickly that I'll just speak for myself. I can't speak for the entire board, but I very much appreciate your work and the work that the chamber does in economic development. I don't think we could do it. I know we could not do it without you. And so you are very much appreciated and respected for your body of work as well.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to do it. And it feels good. It's a good feeling when you can accomplish a project that's out there in the ether and that's rather complicated, containing infrastructure needs and even emotional needs. And it feels right when we can put that one. And when I say we accomplish a project, that's just the start. We've got a very aggressive business retention and expansion program, and we stay close to those companies that we recruit, and we let them know they're cared for in this community. But Mr. Mantu, thank you very much for your comments. And I want to also extend that salute out to the COSA-DC team and the work that they do as well. So thank you.
Thanks, Michael.
I will say, if I could, that there are a couple of key items that are highly correlated with organizational success, and we score high on 2 of those. One of them is we have 3 people named Michael, and all 3 of the staff members which support the board are left-handed. So those are 2 key measures for predicting success in an organization.
You have completely lost it, haven't you? Okay.
You don't have to take action on that item. That's just for your consumption.
So I guess, well, now Mike Dane has just divulged the formula to the world. If you have 3 Mikes and 2 left-handers on your team, that's your formula for success. Should we put this on the next report for 25? Oh, 3, that's right. Thank you. 3 of each. Thanks again.
All right, thank you, Michael.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, cool. Well, now I guess it's time for closed session. Executive session under the provision of Government Code Title V, Open Government Ethics, Subtitle A, Open Government Chapter 551, Open Meetings, Subchapter D, exceptions to the requirement that meetings be open under the following sections. A, Section 551.072, deliberations about real property regarding the sale of approximately 6 acres in Phase 1 of Industrial Park. And B, Section 551.087, business prospect negotiations regarding economic development agreement with SMC Global. And it is, where's my time here? 9:39. We are in closed session. Thank you, everyone. It's 10:20, and we are back from closed session. Item 7, follow-up and administrative issues. A, consideration and possible action of items discussed in closed session if needed, and there are none. B, announcements and consideration of future agenda items, which we have the item from the splash pad from Joe. Anything else? And again, as I mentioned, Nora, what is the date of our next meeting? Because we moved it up because of the Thanksgiving holidays.
The 15th.
Okay,
Yes.
so everyone, please make a note.
Yes,
that
November
our-
15th, and then at that time, we will also, we'll decide whether we do the announcement of the business plan during the meeting or maybe after, so, just so you know.
Perfect.
Nora, could you remind us
Also-
when the next field trip is?
Yes, exactly. So November 6th is when we will be doing our tour, and that'll be affordable housing, and that'll start at 11 o'clock, and we pretty much decided that we're going to try to make that at least about an hour. We'll see 2 locations.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Well, if nothing else, then I'll entertain a motion for adjournment. Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, we are adjourned. It is 10:22. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.